Our oaths, and those oaths demand your death.
So be it. To death and beyond.
Zhaitan demands your death.
What is certain is that you've just encountered two of Zaitan's most powerful servants, and that they escaped your grasp.
Not for long. I'm reporting to Traherne right away. We'll see if we can't organize a pursuit.
I will also carry this news when I return to be freed from my oath. May your steps be relentless, Hunter.
Bract! How's it going, buddy? It's been a while. He was the first to really look at the Temple of the Forgotten God and just now climbs out, drenched from head to toe with his adventure with Sire, and is ready to report to Traherne the mysterious creatures we saw inside. So, a little bit of an upgrade visually for Bract here. The last gear we were in, he'd looted from Sorrow's Embrace. It was the inquesty looking stuff. Well, now, you know, we're dealing with undead and ore and all this kind of stuff, so I figured I'd put him into Rascal gear. So this is a medium armor set. And the Rascal stuff you actually craft around level... it's sort of the level 65-ish equivalent stuff for launch, but it looks really undeady and badass, doesn't it? Look at that skull. I like the idea that as all of our characters start to move into ore and we really start to find a lot of undead, that all of our gear and the really good gear starts getting undeady and ancient-looky, kind of like we've seen with Seer's stuff recently. So yeah, Bract's going to continue along. He's also got pirate stuff, I think, which, I don't know. Look, the steering wheel as a shield is just too cool. And we've got like the pirate pistol as well. Of course, with mini tech, having slayed that dragon, I think that's a pretty good mini. Alright, so let's go talk to Traherne and see what his plan is about this strange mouth and this strange eye. I gotta say as well, it's amazing how often I've bounced back to Fort Trinity. The ambient dialogue here is amazing, because every time I come, I feel like I hear different NPCs saying different things. It's awesome. Hey, Traherne. It's really felt like such a... because so much story takes place here at the end. It feels like just as much of a city to me as any of the others, which is quite astounding, really, since it doesn't fill an entire map and has, you know, essentially less going on feature-wise. All right, Sire's already reported in. Good. Bract has the choice to do a direct assault on this eye or to ambush it. And I think it's pretty clear that as a member of the Order of Whispers, there's no way he'd go for a direct attack. This mirror he's never seen or heard of, an enchanted Orion mirror that should draw the eye's attention. Since when, Traherne, have you had a mirror? We've certainly never heard anything like that, but it sounds promising, so I'll do it.
I'd like you to meet Valiants Tegwin and Keris. They'll be assisting us with our mission. They've supplied the artifact we needed to lure out the eyes of Zhaitan, an enchanted mirror that allows one to spy on ore.
It's a good plan. But is this the right bait? Its magic has to be strong enough to catch the attention of the eyes.
It should be. The mirror is more than just a vanity item. It's a portal to and from ore. The last time I used it, I was transported here.
Where I rescued her. Well, helped Traherne rescue her. Now I'm worried that the eyes will know more about the mirror than we do. It's Orion, right? And so are they.
You cannot hide. You cannot surprise me. I see all. Zaitan's gaze cannot be avoided. Your mirror belongs to the dragon. Soon, all will belong to the dragon.
The mirror's responding to his commands. He's activating a portal.
Attack! Stop him, or we'll have an entire risen army out here.
The Silvari needs our help. Attack!
Check it out! So this time Ikniu comes to help us out, and we get the Hyalek. Totally different variety of things. No longer will we see Skrit dropping Skrit environmental weapons and stuff. You see your Hyalek allies. And again, Hyalek are actually pretty badass in this game with their dark guns and stuff. Mostly it's the undead variants, but pretty cool.
I am pleased to see you again. I am also surprised. No one told us we would have allies on our patrol.
No one told us there were Hyalek in the Pact. Do you know these people, Commander?
What, you don't trust us? The commander saved my people from the Sunless Ones and showed us we had to join the fight against the dragons.
It's all right, Ikniu. Tegwin is just being cautious. We're glad to have you. There's an Eye of Zhaitan hunting us, and we'll need your support.
You'll have it. Lead on, Commander, and the Hyalek will follow.
Icknew is so awesome to me. It doesn't feel like months ago that we did that. I really like how that's kind of worked out, because in World it feels like so long ago, right? And it's great to see these old recurring faces. I don't know whether I told you guys that this at the time that I first did this, but Icknew and working with the Hylic was actually the first lesser race I really did on a character after the game came out. And so I have like just this epic nostalgia and appreciation for these dudes. I look at these undead monsters and I remember what they did to my brother. I want to kill them all. Look, and even his brother gets in there a bit. Oh, we've got a mission to complete. And look, we get these other guys with him.
I don't know where Karis is, but I hope we find her before the Eye does.
Damn, Troyan, you've been slaughtering people.
Done. This effort was difficult, but it proved fruitful. Thanks to you, my friends, we now have an Eye to study. Meet me at Fort Trinity and we'll get started.
So when Caraflower was on this adventure, she very rapidly ran back out to Fort Trinity and didn't take the time to speak to anyone at the end. So that's what I'm going to do here. Tegwin says, this was too nerve-wracking. From now on, I'm not letting Karis out of my sight. And Karis over here,
Live well.
who has the energy shield again. Once the war is over and Zaitan is dead, I'm going to bring Tegwin here for a picnic. We'll plant a few flowers, reminisce, and generally make this a nicer place than it is. Save some space for me, we say. And Icknew at the end of the mission says, I'm glad we meet again. It was a difficult thing finding a new home, but my tribe is on its way to establishing a new village. I thought you deserved to know. Look at this, we get actual closure on that story. They've just been thrown to the winds before, but now at this point, X amount of time later, they've actually, you know, got something rolling. I think that's badass.
These airships are the Pact's crowning achievement, a combination of Asura, Char, and human technology. The Pact developed these airships so that we might fight Zaitan from every possible angle: land, sea, and now air.
It's Gore! How's it going, buddy? So we can ask him here, is everything you're doing now connected to your weapons development program? And he says, only tangentially. Scholar Vivi and I have vast experience with dragon minions. Johan wanted us here to help verify his theories about the Eye's connections. I see. Well, let's begin.
Did you see that? Zaitan's agent just consumed a powerful magical artifact.
If killing the Eye partially blinded Zaitan, then killing the mouth should deprive it of sustenance.
Alright, we've dealt with the Eye, now it's the mouth's turn. We've identified an Orion manor that's receiving shipments of powerful magical items on a regular basis. It's called Kita Mance. Is that the only target? Yes, but there are two ways to attack. We can strike at the mouth in its lair, or we can prevent its food from being delivered. Either way, Zaitan misses a meal. Is one method riskier than the other? Stopping the mouth's move supply is safer, but it's less certain. Attacking it directly is more dangerous, but more certain, assuming it can be defeated. Well, okay. So, he says that it's less certain starving it, but there's not much certainty in the other plan. We might die going for it. We might lose innocent lives. We don't even know it can be defeated. The whole point is that Zaitan is eating magic. The mouth is irrelevant as long as it's not eating magic, so I think fighting an unknown is too risky. I think we should interrupt the food supply. I think this is the sneakier, smarter move that a member of the Order of Whispers would be, you know, any Lightbringer worth their salt would be 100% happy to deal with. And Lightbringer Bract, it's cool describing ourselves that way, isn't it? Is definitely going to go with it. Let's interrupt the food supply and stay the hell away from the Haunted Mansion. Agreed. Send a strike team to meet you near the Weldwood in Ore. They'll brief you and be ready to go when you arrive. The Weldwood. Very good. The Weldwood is a really mysterious, badass place that I've been very excited to show you guys for at least 4 or 5 episodes now. Let's go see it. Alright, here we are at Din Al Jindi. Are you guys ready for some ridiculous trivia bombs here? Well, okay, so first things first. Well, we've got Paggers, so entering the map has actually unlocked that a waypoint all the way over there, even though we haven't been there. I saw an awesome comment, by the way, from you guys, talking about kind of how the camps might be sprung up around the waypoints. Like the waypoint is established first, where they can be established, and then the camps come around them, which is a cool thought to think about as we travel through Ore here. Instead of going along the road and towards these listen areas more, let's go north. And what we're going to do is we're going to head towards where the outpost with all the scrolls was. We're going to pass all the risen bulls and farmers and whatnot. And Bract is, you know, he's coming all the way up here along this peninsula. We're going to find that this peninsula is called the Pyrite Peninsula. Pyrite being, you know, it's like a metal, right? Like a mineral, I guess. It's fool's gold, right? If you... wait, what even is fool's gold? It's not... People don't actually make jewelry out of it, do they? I just remember it as like when I was a kid, I think. That I don't really think as an adult I've ever talked about or thought about fool's gold. Anyway, we're going to come to a place called Pyrite Peninsula, and you might think, Pyrite Peninsula? Hold on, we're in ore. Isn't it all just wet and ruined and graves and stuff? Well, let's see. That area looks a little bit different, doesn't it? And it will become more clear as we go further forward. I also want that waypoint down there. This is also where you saw the Inquest was stalking around. And here you go, Pyrite Peninsula, and we're going to get the Waste Hollows waypoint here. And you're going to find there's actually some events to do with the Inquest right around these NPCs here. Let's speak with them and see what's going on.
Some must fight.
Seems like other players have cleared this out for now. The Inquest is... Oh, no, here we go. The Inquest is causing trouble on the peninsula. We should intercept them. Not all plans come to fruition. Where are they? If you venture into the Weldwood, you'll find the Inquest there. So, yeah, we got that. And Weldwood makes me think kind of melangery and kind of, you know, nature-y. But the Weldwood, we also have that Melanju statue nearby. I don't really think it's too relevant. The Melanju areas of ore and the Melanju Cathedral and stuff we still haven't seen. We've only seen 2 cathedrals so far. Balthazar's Cathedral and Lissa's. Bract hasn't even seen Lissa's yet. Then also we got Explorer Desk who says, those hacks up at Upsilon decided the orb would be perfect for powering their experimental golem.
Tinkering with that orb again.
This has to stop. We can't let an artifact that powerful fall into their hands. Who knows what they do with it? Until we learn how to use the orb, or destroy it, we'll just have to keep the Inquest away from it.
So, sorry, hold on. Artifact orb? What are you guys talking about? Shouldn't the Priory be around it? I guess actually she is a Priory member, probably, an Explorer. Nothing can go wrong with that, of course, but maybe I'll go watch anyway. Where are they? The orb is on Pyrite Peninsula, northwest of here. You can't miss it. Right. And so, yeah, finally we get an Asura here. Member of the Order of Whispers. Quick, the Inquest are draining the orb's energy. If they power up that monstrous golem with it, we'll be in big trouble. Okay, I'll stop them. Oh, no, it actually looks like because I've been talking, we're going to miss it. So there's a bar charging here. We're missing the event. And what we got to do is kill the Inquest before it totally fills. As we come up this plateau, look at this. It's a whole area of ore filled with fool's gold. And what is that up there?
Fantastic. That went just as planned. Well, almost.
Must protect, or...
Yeah! Abandoned experiment! Back to the lab!
We have, this is perfect timing in a way. We see the consequence of what the Inquest just did. They sapped power from here. We'll return, don't worry guys. Infused it into this golem that's now gone haywire and they've lost control. And every little thing you see in here right now could be really relevant.
Must protect, or...
So it just keeps saying must protect, or, must protect, or. Why is it saying that? Well, who knows? We're going to deal with a mystery here right now. Quite often on this series, I like shine a spotlight on the mysteries and the breadcrumbing that the franchise does, and you know, there's a sense that we'll get answers later. And that's most of the time what we're dealing with. This one right now, though, guys, is a mystery most players don't know the answer to, and is relevant right here, right now, today. And you can watch as a member of the audience and think about this and come up with your own solutions in the comments. So, the Inquest touch into this ancient artifact, create a golem, it now rampages around. I really want to kill it to see what dialogue might trigger. Should we try? This is going to be dangerous, but Bract is very, very, very strong. So, as we saw when he was in the dungeon. So, let's see. I'll probably speed this up. Let's give it a shot. And if it look like I'm going to die, I'm going to run away. We're still on the same basic grenade build we saw in the dungeon. So, here he's going to use the projectile thing. So, I'm just going to reflect it back at him. And we'll see if it's possible to kill this. It could be really hard and nearly... Oh, God. Okay, yeah, we're not going to be able to kill it. It's way too dangerous. I was right to be scared. Okay, so basically the event is, though, you kill the golem, and then the Inquest, you know, set back momentarily. We get some generic filler dialogue. Don't worry, you're not going to miss any really big lore here. I have done my research before, you know, we go in and we do the episodes, and then the Inquest come back, and it kind of just cycles. It's to do with that golem. I'm not going to be able to solo it. But let's come back up to the peninsula now as the things ran off. I guess their updates will... Their dialogue now will change to just say, oh, there's a golem, can you help us out? Let's talk about the peninsula. So, we saw a second ago, if you rewind the video, this orb in the sky, this giant magical explosion here. was actually glowing a lot more before that event triggered. And then once the inquest sucked into it, it kind of shrank down a bit. But nonetheless, it does remain a hero challenge. So here, there's 3 different terms we're looking at. We're on the Pyrite Peninsula, fool's gold. And clearly there's gold slathered and splattered all over the place here. We also get the point of interest called the Weldwood, which is where the story is. And we get the Metal Forest. So let's talk about each. Pyrite Peninsula, I think as an area name, is probably named by the Pact in contemporary Tyria, right? Like the Blood Trough was probably named by Pact forces coming through, Elysian Beach and stuff. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of newer names. However, a lot of POIs like Jin al-Jindi, right, tend to be Orient in nature. So did the Orions call this the Weldwood? Is that what we know of this as historically? So does that mean this was always like this, even before ore sunk? Some crazy magical explosion that occurred because of Orions? Well, we don't know. We don't know the origin. And then finally, the hero challenge itself is called the Metal Forest and explains more than anything else what's going on here. Metal Forest. The Weldwood on the Pyrite Peninsula holds an ancient Orient mystery. See, so I think that this happened hundreds of years ago, and it was maybe even a mystery to the Orions, or it's certainly to us now. This is an orb wielding a great and unknown forces. It has gilded the forest around it and lends a burst of power to any who commune with it. Right, so what's the number one thing I constantly say on this series? That the in-game depiction of Tyria is not necessarily what it is on paper in the minds and the imaginations of the developers and the community that can experience it, right? When we look at a small waterway and bridge like this, it's actually a massive expanse like, you know, the channel between France and the UK, right? Like, we have to think about these things. So imagine this, right? We are in, like, some epic large forest. There's a woodland here, and it was all turned to gold. Then an explosion sunk it all to the bottom of the sea, and you'll notice that there's, like, coral and stuff around, sort of, maybe? It's just so... And the devs put this into ore, guys, and have never explained what's going on. Why is it all gilded? What is this thing here? Well, you'll notice the term orb. The NPCs down there were saying orb. There was voice-acted delivery lines saying orb, orb, orb. What do we know about orbs? Well, particularly because we've seen so many branches in the story throughout the series, we do know there's something about an orb, right? Wasn't there a blue orb? So hold on. The blue orb, the crates took from deep in the oceans, and we speculated it might have something to do with the deep sea dragon. And the blue orb kind of pulses its influence out and protects the areas around it from other Elder Dragons, right? That was the theory we came up with, that because Elder Dragon minions can't kind of corrupt one another and can't influence with one another, maybe if you've got Deep Sea Dragon influence and you're a crate, you can keep transporting this orb to your different deeps, and you manage to repel the Risen. And we saw, as soon as we stole that orb from them, their places collapsed to the Risen, and we kept ours safe at Fort Trinity. And it looks like we might even be tapping into it with some of the bases we set up here. So they set up the blue orb early in the story. Here they're showing a gold orb? Well, okay, that works, except that... Is the orb this actual thing here? It looks like this orb is broken and lingering in the sky somehow. It doesn't... The blue orb was smaller. And also, okay, the blue orb, water, deep sea dragon, that kind of makes sense. There is no gold Elder Dragon, is there? What is the essence of gold and gilding? So what does that mean? That... And here's basically my theory, and I can give you all the details now, because this is it, right? That's everything. You got all the information you need, guys. My theory about this, okay, my favorite idea right now as I record this video, is that what if, once upon a time, there was another Elder Dragon or creature like an Elder Dragon that was all gold-related, and it had an orb associated with it, and the Orions got their hands on it somehow. Maybe the gods, while they lived here on Ore, got their hands on it. It was somehow around here. The Orions tampered with it, and they messed up. And some great wizard of Ore, with all the magic that they were wielding, maybe in accordance with the gods, I don't know. Maybe this was an Abaddon experiment or something. They tapped into the orb, and they destroyed it. And we know that there is no gold Elder Dragon, right? Or as far as we know so far, there's no gold Elder Dragon. So maybe it's a thing of when the power that created this orb left Tyria or died or whatever, its orb kind of shattered too. Does that mean if the blue orb is associated with a deep sea dragon, which we don't know for sure, but if it is, Does that mean when we kill the deep sea dragon, potentially the blue orb explodes and sort of messes up Fort Trinity and floods it with water or something? I don't know. But this is so cool to me. I'm really excited. It's about to get even more badass, okay? Because there is actually... there's never been a real answer from the devs on this. It's just here to be a mystery and speculate about. And they actually did an update with it that people still don't have a clue what's going on. And I'll show you it now. Let's commune with the hero challenge. And Bract will get a little bit stronger. For most players... they're probably at a point in the game where they're just zerging through these hero challenges and not thinking about stuff. But I'm going to press F on it a second time here. Okay? And so we get the same dialogue. Now, quite often, with a lot of the legendary weapon crafting, when the first expansion came out, they might ask you to come back here. So they'll say, oh, you know, go see this pretty place. But they never really give you any details. However, sneakily, randomly, and for no explanation whatsoever, at a patch a couple of years ago, the devs put another update on this. In Bract's inventory right now, you will see I've got this crafting material here. These are piles of coarse sand. So, technically, coarse sand wasn't in the game at launch at vanilla. So, technically, it should be impossible for Bract to have this. And I've kind of sequence broke a little bit, right? I've broken my rule. But... when we finally get coarse sands, you know, it's going to be weird to come back here to ore to do it. So we're going to do the whole story right now, okay? So this is going to come from a sandy place at some point in the story in the future. Ooh, hints and spoilers for later, right? So anyway, I've got this coarse sand. If you come to the Pyrite Peninsula with coarse... just this item, randomly, this one. It's got nothing to do with a collection. You'll see that you get this extra option here. It says to hold up a pile of white sand... so, is that a typo from the devs? We actually only have coarse sand. It says, hold up a pile of... and there is no white sand item in the game. Hold up a pile of white sand to the glowing orb. And if we do it, you'll see I get an item in return. An exotic item. A pile of golden sand. So, do you see this? Golden sand. So, it's kind of like the Midas touch idea here. And check it out. It's got flavor text. It says, coarse sand turned to gold... in the Pyrite Peninsula. Ooh, so what is this item? Well, it requires level 80. It's soulbound to the person who gets it. So, you know, Bract can't trade that away or anything now. But look, it's a consumable. So we can use this somehow? Well, let's double click it and consume it. Well, nothing happened. So what's it for? And now I can come back and I can get another pile of golden sand. What did that do? Who knows? So, here's a funny thing, guys. The achievements and stuff in the game, you can't, like, mine or see those early until at least one player unlocks the achievement. It takes one player to get the achievement, and then it kind of becomes visible for everyone. So, there are potentially hidden achievements and things in Guild Wars 2 that people just don't know where they are or how to get them. And that's been true for years and years and years and years and years now. Now, most players, when a new patch comes out, they go over it really, really closely and hidden stuff is found. But this is a strange patch that came to ore on a thing that only really the lore nerds noticed and cared about. And nobody's ever... oh, okay, well, we'll sit down as we discuss here. Nobody's ever figured out what's going on with golden sand. The idea is maybe somewhere in the MMO, you can consume the sand and it might trigger something and do something. But who knows? And so just by the way, there is another little piece of the puzzle. Somewhere else in some upcoming story, we'll have the option to buy some pink sand, which was also mysteriously added, and people don't know what's going on. So there's like white sand, golden sand, pink sand. Why is it all here? What is the mystery of the Pyrite Peninsula and the Metal Forest? It's all for you to speculate and ponder about. What does Zaitan think of this area? It's clearly magically inclined. And here, I'll remind you with the thing we saw from the Golem as well. The Golem comes up to this, the Inquest lose control, and now the Golem wants to protect, to protect, to protect. So what, is this a force for good in the defense of ore? There you go. I just like the idea that it's like the Cauldron of Cataclysm and the Searing, right? That rains this scar on the landscape. Or had its own, like, searing of some sort. And there's just this thing up here. And there you go. All right, this is also another angle, a beautiful angle of the Cathedral of Eternal Radiance up there. We were up there, right? Look how high it is. And you can see all the amazing stuff underneath. Ore is so epic, man. I friggin' love ore. All right, so anyway, with all of that and the Pyrite Peninsula and the Inquest in the area, let's now move on as Bract ponders this. It's a shame he's not the member of the Priory, eh, guys? Maybe he'd have something else to say on that. And we're going to move in to Starve the Mouth from Key to Mance. Hey, guys. Or I say, hey, guys. Who's actually here? It looks like we're just kind of alone.
Welcome to the party, Commander. We're ready to go on your orders. Strixel, our demolitionist, is waiting to meet you inside the tower ruin.
Okay, Strixel. I'm not sure I've met Strixel before. We have Zri, though, and we certainly know who this lady is. She's kind of freaking out with her movement. What are you doing, Zri? Trying to figure out how to get there? Okay, cool. So what? We're hiding in this old, ruined out, hollowed out tower. She says, another day, another mission, eh, Commander? If you're looking for Demolition Strixel, he's over there, standing by to brief you. Yeah, I see him. Okay, so that's Strixel. What else we got? Well, let's, you know, look ahead.
Why are you messing with that? Stick to your cannons and leave the turrets to me.
I'm not messing with it. I'm fine-tuning it. You set it up wrong.
Well, how would you? This is delicate equipment. The only tool you have is a hammerhead.
Well, I'll remember that, Ash Trash. When we get back to Trinity, I'll take a hammer to your head.
So, check it out. Snarl and Galena are being put to good use. Arguing as always. So, they're hammering away on this cannon. You'll see as I stand close. Look at the FOV. Look at what my camera's doing. Really broadening out. Like it does when there's a big world boss. Like, you know, fighting the Shadow Behemoth or the Claw of Jormag or whatnot. So, Snarl, what's going on? Commander, I'll have this cannon operational when you need it, provided that bloody hardhead Galena doesn't distract me. Just make sure it's ready. And over here, she says, don't worry about the cannon, Commander. I'll make sure it's ready for action when you need it. Very good. Well, whose job is it? Who knows? All right, so we'll move back over now, and we'll speak to Strixel. We have one cannon. So, hold on. There's a mouth in a mansion. Lots of artifacts are en route to it. We're going to try and intercept those artifacts by firing out over this bay. Huh. So, you'll notice this is called the Mirror Bay. And that's beautiful because, obviously, that's thematically associated with all the Lyssa stuff. Lyssa's mirror being, you know, a thing that we're all very familiar with. So yeah, Pack Demolitionist Strixel. Or we're not all familiar with necessarily from this Let's Play, but if you played the original game, that was kind of a thing with Lyssa and, you know, one of the regions she blessed. Okay, so how's it going, man?
Commander, Bull Strixel, Demolitionist. Per Marshal Traherne's orders, we're ready to assault the mouth of Zaitan's supply route. Agent Zri has the details.
An Orion bone ship that we call the Blight brings powerful artifacts here on a regular basis. This bluff is its drop-off point. The Mouth's servants carry the cargo back to the Mats, always via the same route. We're ready to hit them at each stage of the delivery.
When the ship appears, we open up with this turret, provided by Ballistician's Backdraft and Edge Crusher.
Any artifacts that don't sync with the Blight will be rushed back to the Mats, and we've mined the route with high explosives.
Oh.
We'll pursue and mop up the couriers. Once they're all dead, we proceed to the Mats and kill the Mouth.
Very good.
Wait, what?
Show me to the turret and let's get ready for the Blight.
This way. Snarl and Galena should have it completed by now.
I thought the idea was to not have to go into the Mats. Or maybe it's gonna get hungry and come out. All right, I'll be right with you, Commander. I need to check in with our artillery experts, okay? Better check on Galena and Snarl. They should have the cannon ready, but only if they haven't killed each other in the process. Understood. I like this. So we got all these mines and things. Pretty cool. There's some eagles around I'm going to be cautious of. And tar elementals. Why are there tar elementals in the Pyrite Peninsula? Hey, guys. Got any updates for us?
Edge Crusher, the commander's here. Is your weapon set up?
It's not perfect, but it'll send that Orion tub to the bottom of the sea.
Time to test that theory. Here comes the Blight now.
All yours, Commander. Let her rip.
Oh, so this is badass, right? We get to... I love the stuff with the bone ships and stuff. The cannon's all yours. Go, Commander. The cannon's ready when you are. Oh, yeah. Look at how cool that is. Okay, so the auto attack is launched. Okay, we're taking damage. They're like... Okay, so the Risen near us that are getting spawned up here, we kind of do have to clear out, otherwise they'll blow us up. This would be a cool mission to play co-op, to be honest, because you can have your allies help cleave you down. So we have to do that because they do actually a lot of damage. This is pretty dangerous, okay? Don't forget, this is the equivalent mission to a very tough one inside the Mants. So here we get a defensive skill, Sanctuary, form a protective barrier. The skill 2 is to burn foes at our target location. And we get an auto attack where we can siege it. So the Blight itself, what a cool name. All the Orion bone ships have cool names, don't they? The Blight itself is a target, but also so are these tendrils on it, which are kind of the Trebs, the siege. So I think what we need to do is use Sanctuary at the right times to knock stuff away and destroy the projectiles the Blight is sending at us. But the timing can be pretty tricky. So for that one, for example. So we might have got that, maybe. I don't know for sure. This skill 2, the Flame Burst, it says burn foes at the target location. That's not actually correct. What it's doing is it's exploding fire around the cannon. So if you see this villager behind me, I'm exploding fire on it. The problem is, as with so many of these skills and things...
Comes another wave. Like they didn't appreciate our welcome salute.
They're like not updated properly. So this basically does no damage and you can kind of ignore, actually, to be honest. It doesn't help in getting the mobs off of you. So what you want to do is manually get off of the turret and make sure that you fire like that, okay? And actually physically blow them up.
Firing, Commander. They can't take much more.
No, they can't. We're just being pretty relentless here because we cleaved them down so comfortably a second ago. This double elixir build, so there was a little bit more balance I'll talk to you guys about very soon, where the elixirs change slightly again. But basically, it's just tons of boons, and then we just grenade them to hell. Same build you've been seeing me on for a while. Here we go, 1%.
Light is going down. Let's mop up the stragglers.
Yeah, that's such an explosion. I wish we could hear it a bit more loudly. All right, we're going to mop up the stragglers. Okay, those mines I planted should give us a chance to catch the couriers. So some of them did actually get through, it seems. There's an undead assault coming, though, so we want to cleave these out. Look, they're all farmers. Farmers and pirates on that ship, eh? Or running in defense of the ship. Do you think Zaitan is just stirring in the hearts of the Risen nearby, that they must... compelling them to an area? This area, to kill us?
Risen. Someday I'll get back to killing live things. Get them all, at least?
Negative. We have movement in the water. Looks like the couriers have cargo and are in motion.
Once they hit those charges we planted, they'll go boom and never reach the mouth.
One way to make sure. Come on, let's cut Zaitan's delivery boys to pieces.
I like that the undead don't drown or anything, right? So the fact they got knocked off of the ship by us destroying it and the explosion stuff doesn't actually matter. It's just a nuisance, right? Like Zaitan, it's a weird thought that Zaitan uses ships because it's too slow to transport your undead via swimming, right? And, you know, it's actually the physical power of them in terms of getting cannons and stuff. That's what's good. Coming through, Commander. I got a kill count belt with Galena, and I never lose.
Did you see that mine explode? Nothing taught me well.
Oh, it's Ton! Poor Ton. Those mines I planted should give us a chance. So, wait, we never met Strixel while we were dealing with Ton, though, did we? What a cool little reference there. So, this is a kind of an interesting moment in that it feels a lot like a Guild Wars 1 mission where there's a sense that you might fail. You'll notice that you've got these golden starbursts on the map, and they represent the couriers, and we've got to, like, intercept them and get there before they move too far in. So, yeah, we'll take this out. There's another cool thing that this story is expressing about the Pyrite Peninsula, by the way, that I can't show you on the open world right now because the golems rampaging around. Which is, so you got the tar elementals, but look at this. They're actually, there's a version of Earth Elemental here as well called Pyrite Elementals. They don't actually have different skills or capabilities or hints in the combat log with the, you know, abilities they hit you with it or whatever. They don't give you more information about the mystery. But yeah, they are a slightly golder version of Earth Elemental that sort of plague these lands, their own haunting there. So here, we got a courier. You'll notice, by the way, that this courier looks exactly, holding the chest, looks exactly like the couriers we saw when we tapped into the eye of Zaitan on the airship in the previous instance. This is kind of exactly what we saw. They were carrying the chests, and they have that exact kind of appearance. So yeah, we'll take this one out. Loads of mines, by the way, if you look at the minimap. There's a huge trail of them all the way back to the mountains, which is actually really far away. And as long as we, and you'll notice these guys are actually quite tanky too compared to other enemies. So as long as we just keep hammering them hard enough and keep them all the way up here, we should be fine. You'll see that the story... here's a courier guard. Oh, I must let this one run past us. Kill the map's couriers before they reach Kita Mance. 2 out of 4. Yeah, and they do actually have, like, swiftness and move quick. I like the idea of this is, you know, a really well-implemented mission where you've got to actually harass them with, like, cripples and chills and whatnot. You know, and keep the stuns and the CCs on them. Guild Wars 1 did some interesting stuff like that in some of those missions, like the Dunkoro bonus from the mission in the cave as you're heading to Vavi in Nightfall. For those who know what I'm talking about there. This mission's a bit reminiscent to me of that. But yeah, okay, so that's 3 or 4, and now we get the last one. They didn't even get through many mines. That's pretty fantastic, eh? I don't think we unlock extra dialogue necessarily by letting them hit the mines, by the way. There's no need to play with a risk. Down you go now. You've got 16 bleed on you. And he's out. Perfect. All right, we all good, guys? All right, okay, so now the next phase is to storm Keita Mance. Ha, let them run. Whatever Strixel's minds don't vaporize, Snarl and Galena will shred. Come through, Commander. Okay, that's the same dialogue. I don't think they updated. I bet Snarl I'd kill more undead than he will. Let's go. Blood Legion's reputation is on the line. Those mines are planted should give us the time. Okay, cool. So, yeah, now we're going to storm the Mance and make sure that the mouth itself is dead. So this bit of the mission I really don't agree with. I think it's kind of weird, right? Like, if we got a black screen and a suggestion, we waited a few weeks now and, you know, did this over a long period of time, I think this mission should have been framed as we're testing a foolproof method of starving the mouth, and we've established, like, the parameters and the idea here, and then we leave as the commander and go on and do other stuff, confident that we've got a contingent of packed forces that will stay here for a few months and keep the mouth. You know, that's what it should have been. It should have been putting to practice the theory of how we starve it. But instead we get this extra bit here where there's a... Oh, because he didn't get those artifacts in just a few seconds. Now he's hungry and he's got to come out? I don't know. Maybe we can excuse it and suggest that Zaitan's, like... Through Zaitan, through the hive mind of what it means to be an Elder Dragon or whatever, through the magic, the mouth has sensed that his couriers have been killed. And the mouth has sensed that maybe the artifacts are still just out there. They're just out of reach. And this will be really bad if he doesn't get them. So it sort of enraged him. And thus he's come lumbering out, right? Maybe that's the idea. And we've baited him into the open where we can deal with him on our terms instead of some freaky mesmer party show. That, of course, Bract has no idea about. But this has probably been the safer approach, right? No casualties, certainly. Risen Abomination. Guarding the entrance. Well, you weren't here before. Let's take him out. Oh, my God. We got some really good crits there. Down you go, my friend. Coming up here, we get a Squire. Uh-oh. And here you go. So the door's open and he charges out. So we get the Mouth Boss fight. But this version of the Mouth Boss fight is very different. Because most of, you know, the challenge and the mechanics and stuff of this instance has been loaded actually throughout the rest. So let's see. Now we'll see he's unstoppable and he builds Frenzy, regenerating health. He has regen on him, but he doesn't have standing ground and he doesn't have protection on him, which were boons we saw before. And he's not surrounded by magically infused weapons that are in charge, right? He doesn't have that power there. So, hey, Mr. Mouth of Zaitan, what you got? Less, it seems.
It's the insects who sank my ship and stole my property. You've chosen a terrible time to be heroes.
We're here to deliver a message to Zaitan, and it requires your corpse.
Let's hear you say that after I devour you and all you possess. Your magic won't replace the items you stole, but it will please the dragon.
Come and get me, Bellyface. If you do swallow me, I'll make sure to stick in your throat.
God, Bract is so arrogant and bold and just happy.
Another meal for my master.
Another meal for your master, I'm sure. Meal for you. It's really interesting seeing him in a side-by-side cutscene as well. Some NPCs just don't work well in it, like the Quaggan, like I showed you guys before. So here you'll see he does still have the shockwave.
It's time. The dragon hungers.
He's got a lot of new dialogue as we do the fight as well that I kind of think both versions of the instance should have had, really, right? I mean, personally. We can break his break bar very comfortably here.
Submit to the will of Zaitan.
Yeah, oh no, I think I remember him saying that a lot. He said that every time he gained a new artifact before. He's not had a chance to build Frenzy here. But as you see now, as we're DPSing him, he does get some buffs. So he's got classic swiftness here. That's unstrippable. As we've slowly pressured him down. This is kind of like what we saw in the Sunken Temple of the Forgotten God. The mechanics of that fight was a bit like that. As we got the boss lower and lower, it gained these boons. I wonder if the devs had an idea that all Orion bosses were going to follow that kind of format, and then they never went through with it unanimously in the end. But yeah, I'm guessing when we get him below 20...
will triumph. You will all serve the dragon.
I'm guessing he'll get one final boon here. It was Fury last time. Shall we see? I mean, he's been CC'd here, so he might not be able to apply it to himself. Let's see. Oh, God. Okay, that's kind of scary, the big leap. Definitely no frenzy going on. All right, there you go. So he doesn't actually get it. Down you go. Yeah. It's kind of weird just kind of casually killing one, like a regular mob out in the open world.
Did you hear that? That's the sound of a cranky dragon who ain't getting fed today.
Yeah, when do we get to carve chunks off the dragon itself? Tired of all these squishy minions. They don't even bleed right.
I actually agree with you. That doesn't feel right. Can't have Trahern's unity claptrap spoiling decades of interlegion rivalry.
It's a complete victory, Commander. Not only did we kill the mouth, but we've got Snarling Galena making nice.
They deserve to celebrate. We all do. Trahern's taking Zaitan down one step at a time.
You better get back to Fort Trinity with the good news. We'll clean up here. A pleasure serving with you, Commander.
Good news indeed, and you might have been expecting Strixel to be a casualty, no? Well, he's absolutely fine, so yeah, really good. This is a perfect example. I think there's some weird timeline oddities now of like, okay, the official timeline of this story, which instance happened? Well, you know, did we have a casualty? Because clearly no Norn would have died in this area now, because everything went totally different. This is a perfect example as well, aside from the timeline weirdness, of how the devs presented a story choice for us. And you guys watching this series have got to see both, and you get the full picture, and I adore that, and I hope you enjoy that. But I kind of feel bad that other players are forced into one or the other, when the truth is, all the dialogue across both instances, both depictions of taking this mouth out, complement one another, and I can actually very easily imagine one long mission that starts at Pyrite Peninsula, comes here, and then when we get to about this bit, we go inside as well, you know. It would take like one line of dialogue to suggest, oh, I guess he's got a lot of magic anyway, let's push the offensive. And then this mission can segue perfectly into the other, and all the voice acting and all the budget and everything wouldn't have to be spread over both. And so what you guys will find actually, as ArenaNet go forward with the stories, there's less branches like that, and they do just choose to deliver the one story. And that's how, this is a perfect example of how you get extra quality if you go for the one story, and that's why that's the direction Guild Wars 2 will eventually move in. So yeah, really, really cool. Anyway, hey Strixel, it was a pleasure to be on your team, Commander. Zaitan is definitely on the defensive now, and of course, the Zaitan Roar happens in this instance, but it's much better delivered in the other instance, right? Agent 3 says, we're chalking up an impressive win record, Commander. I look forward to our next mission here. Same here, Agent. It's a fun idea that I think the devs could have indulged in as well, where in a weird way, it's like there's a correct choice at this point in the story. This is the correct choice. The other one leads to loss, at least in part. This one is just like pure victory, and that's a sense, that's a thing that the writers and the architects of how the personal story would work when Guild Wars 2 launched, they never indulged in. They could have had the philosophy where they said, yeah, there's kind of a golden path. Well, golden path's a poor term because that actually describes something else. But basically, there's an idea of a really good path and a very successful route, and then there's kind of like a chaos route and a negative route where you make all the wrong decisions. And you know, the devs could have really embraced that and added a lot of meaning to the story, and they didn't there, and I kind of regret that they didn't with that. But at least here at this juncture, you kind of get that feeling. I can hear Zaitan's stomach growling already. Great working with you, Commander. Looking forward to the next one. So yeah, for example, you know, when we pick the lesser races, what if you pick Skrit, the Skrit just cannot save you and help you later in the game. So if you pick Skrit, that was like the wrong choice, and you kind of have a harder story to go through at that point. The problem is they can't juggle a billion different stories that are really divergent from one another, so they kind of you know, refrain from that, and I think that's the real reason why they didn't. But anyway, we're getting into other stories. Here we can actually interact with the door, the Ketamance doors, but they're outside of the boundary limits, the instance limits, so I guess I'll just gamble. If we walk too far, we're going to get kicked out, but I'd love to press F and see what that actually does. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Alright, well, there you go. Okay, cool. So let's meet Trahern at Fort Trinity with the mouth destroyed. I'm sure he'll be very happy to hear. And that's both of them dealt with. And the mystery of the Pyrite Peninsula. Feel free to pause and tell me what you think about that. Okay, wait, Trahern. This time, I just want to speak to Winnet, Dern, and Afut before they leave. So, Winnet says, this may sound selfish, but I think you should have joined the Priory. But you're getting the job done, so the how and the with whom don't truly matter. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if I was in the Priory, we were just saying it might have been cool for Bract. I'm happy to be Order of Whispers, though. I really am. So, yeah, that's what they said. Afut, how are you doing? Are you going to say I should have joined Vigil? Things would have been different if you joined the Vigil, but I can't argue with your results. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Let's see what Trahern has. And Dern! Dern, my friend, a mystery all of your own. Congratulations on shutting the mouth. Shutting the mouth. I'm glad to see one of our own doing so well in such a public position. Now, let's see what Trahern has on his mind. Agreed. Yeah, the Whispers don't really like being in public positions, but the idea of the commander, who we are, I mean, slowly we're becoming more recognizable, eh? That doesn't quite gel with the secretive ways of the Whispers.
Welcome, friends and allies. We've just defeated a powerful mouth of Zaitan, effectively cutting off one of the dragon's major supply lines. Now, we have to press our advantage. Reducing Zaitan's food supply was a good start. It's time to stem the flow of reinforcements.
Reinforcements? You mean...
He means dead bodies. Zaitan's minions on the mainland are gathering and shipping corpses to ore in massive numbers.
Precisely. Our next move is to confront Zaitan in ore. Before we strike, we need to weaken its position as much as possible.
A sound strategy. Starve the enemy and cripple its army before we invade. You learn fast, Marshal.
I have to be, General. Now, the Commander and I need to confer and choose the best course of action.
I'm more than happy to. These guys will have updated here as well. These twin mission objectives are quite the tactical challenge. I'm curious to see how you and the pack handle it, but I'm confident you'll be victorious. Thanks very much. I hope I live up to your expectations. Ifut, you got anything you want to offer? 2 assaults at once? Impressive. Trahan is thinking high risk, high reward, isn't he? And I thought he was learning how to wage war from scratch. We're lucky. He's a quick study. And Dern, thinning out the enemy's number is a solid strategy. The Order of Whispers is at your disposal, Commander. Good luck. Alright, okay, so, what are the 2 plans, Trahan?
Remain strong.
I read the dispatches from Strixel. 1 less mouth-devouring meals for Zaitan. Well done. Stopping Zaitan's food supply will make a huge difference. Now remember, there is kind of a suggestion there are other eyes. We defeated an eye earlier and studied it, and we saw that one eye met another, and, you know, so who knows how many of these there really are out there. We've reached the point where we need to establish a forward base on soil. Zaitan's vast army gives it the advantage, but we're going to address that. To do that, we must shut down the ossuary that creates Zaitan's most formidable monstrosities, or sink the giant ark that brings in corpses to fuel it. It's a very similar setup to what we saw a second ago. I need more information. Is our target ship Zaitan's only source of corpses? No, but it's the flagship of his corpse ark fleet. Well, we have to stop his army from expanding. I think Bract, who dealt with a powerful risen admiral way back when, who's just sunk a ship here with his perspective and a view on the things at Claw Island, dealing and sneaking around with pirates as a member of the Order of Whispers way back when. If Bract knows anything, he knows boats, he knows naval affairs. I think he'd like the idea of cutting off supply by sinking the Ark. Very well. I'll have a pack squad standing by to join you. Also, I'll send a different squad to attack the ossuary, and this time, Commander, I'm going with you. Glad to have you aboard, Marshal. Well, good stuff. Everybody goes off back to Corteria to figure out what's going on, and Trahan says, be advised, this ship is both heavily armed and guarded, but it must be sunk to stop Zaitan's army from growing. I'll handle my end, Marshal, don't you worry. So next time, guys, we will be coming face to face with a fleet of Zaitan's ships, something we haven't seen since Claw Island, and indeed the lead of it, this corpse ark and the headship there. It's going to be very cool. I hope to see you all once again in Malkor's Leap out in the Northern Oceans, where there's quite a lot of content to deal with. See you guys there.